Your mouth is God's ears. That's right. Brian's not comments. Brian's not here, but I think it was.
Really? Really?
She says she's gonna turn in her computer ASAP.
Okay,
Oh.
so
That's it.
getting a letter with that?
Yeah, text message. That's how society works.
Yeah, these days. Especially.
If you wanna get divorced, just, send a text. If you wanna break up, send a text.
Yeah.
Whatever you need, just send a text.
Yeah.
Okay, so our account is done then.
Yeah, I sent you a text today.
To, live stream on YouTube, so, I'll have Cole post it tomorrow.
Why is it leaving?
I don't know why we're having issues with that.
That is weird. That is really is.
He's got stuff on the agenda to talk, he's got 4 pages of stuff to talk about. Mhm.
One letter on each page.
It's A, B, C, D.
He told me it was gonna be.
Yeah, he told me that.
Melinda and Lauren, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. Today is Wednesday, July 24th, 2024. The time is 7 p.m. and the Town of Wiggins Board of Trustees is now in session. Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Jerry Schwint,
Here.
trustee Mandy Camilleri is absent, trustee Brian Flax is absent, Mayor Pro Tem David Erpsman,
Here.
trustee Bruce Miller,
Here.
trustee Steve Pro,
Here.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Here. Next up is approval of agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion has been made by trustee Miller, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Herbstman. Roll call, please.
Trustee Steve Pro,
Yes.
trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem David Erpsman,
Yes.
trustee Jerry Schwint,
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes. All right, agenda has been approved. Next up is approval of consent agenda. Approval of minutes from the board meeting held on June 26, 2024. Approval of minutes from the special board meeting July 2nd, 2024. Approval of minutes from the special board meeting July 10th, 2024. And approval of minutes from the special board meeting July 16th, 2024.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Hertzman, seconded by trustee Perot. Roll call, please.
Trustee Jerry Schwint,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem David Erpsman,
Yes.
trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
trustee Steve Pro,
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes. All right, town report. I'm gonna start. Unless somebody with a lot more positive information wants to go first. Yeah, Zach, you go ahead. You go first.
Well, 4th of July went well. Not a lot of hitch.
We're working on updating some different things for next year. Just Bo's got the parks looking really nice right now. They're working on adding in the rock around everywhere, not just around that building, but kind of around where there were wood chips before. We're talking about maybe running our own electrical next year for all the booths instead of getting all the generators, so we don't have to go through all the generator issues that we've had to deal with. Summer sports coming to a wrap next week. It went really well. A lot of positives.
Mhm.
Most
So-
cars I've seen there in years.
Well, good. It's been good. Adult softball, again, the highest number of teams we've had for a few years. It's going really well. They want me to look into doing a fall softball as well, which will probably go ahead as long as everybody's good with that. Make sure we have approval and everything. And then we're gonna look at doing some different adult rec sports stuff, such as maybe a co-rec volleyball. Try to talk with the school and see if they will let us use the facilities, maybe a men's basketball league. Just kind of get our foot in the door, kind of see what we can get going.
Yep.
As far as non-sports related things that I'd kind of like to look into and start doing. And it depends on kind of the building on if we get the approval to, keep using that as the temp license or whatever we have with the building that's built. But maybe doing dance classes once a month where we bring in someone that teaches, line dancing or, country swing, something fun like that. Even it was brought an idea, maybe doing a daddy-daughter dance and offering that through that, or maybe even a gala where we do a fundraiser or something for the Parks and Rec. Just some different ideas for that. And then I talked to Trent Kerr a while ago about potentially talking to the art teacher and seeing if they would do like a guided painting and then partnering with the bar and doing a sip and paint night.
So there's an individual that lives in town that they do that.
Well,
Yeah, I would
perfect.
talk to Art Spot. for that.
Nice.
Yeah, Darlene.
Yeah, I would go to her.
Yeah, they
Perfect.
do that all the time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They do it in Fort
Even better.
Morgan, but they would do it here. She does it at the school, like at the beginning of summer.
Right.
But she would do it here. I think I don't have her number. I have
Perfect.
Charlie's, but I can get you in contact with Darlene.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So those are just some of those things. And then I put together, this is one of the other things I've kind of been working on.
Thank you.
Is kind of instead of hitting up businesses all the time, asking for donations, kind of trying to streamline the process and putting a packet together of all of our different events throughout the year, or different projects, or different ideas for sponsorships. So this is just a sample, and anywhere you would see like pictures or anything like that, that would obviously be our Wiggins Parks and Rec that would go in there. And I just kind of threw in some sample ideas that I've kind of been bouncing around and kicking around in my brain. For example, like a dog park would be really cool to see,
I
or
want you to not say that again,
you got it. Never again.
please.
Never again. An idea of being able to have a business like sponsor and be named partner on the amphitheater
Mhm.
or even on the building. So then we're just getting some revenue for different things like that we can use for various different park updates. Other ideas that would go into this, obviously 4th of July partners, Old Town Christmas, really just anything. I've got a ton of ideas, but didn't want to waste my time if you guys thought it was a waste of time.
No, I think
So,
this is a good idea, and I think me and Bo, we've kind of kicked around this idea of seeing sponsors and hanging their banners somewhere and
right,
advertising them as sponsors, because I think there's a lot of people, a lot of businesses that would do it. So
right.
I'm glad you're willing to take this on, because I think it is something that people would go for and
Perfect.
get behind. So
Perfect.
I think it is good.
So that's it for me.
I like the presentation too. It's really cool.
Hey, we
Link
talk
up.
about the
Oh, yes, and what is it? So on the 31st, when we have the town celebration that morning, a lady has approached us to use one of the pavilions to do it's basically a parenting class is kind of what she's offering. She wants to talk to parents in the area about the different resources, free resources that they have available for parents, prenatal all the way up to 5 years.
Yep.
And so as soon as she gets a poster and flyer made for that. We'll go ahead and advertise that for the town, but
What's it called?
baby bear hugs.
Oh, yes.
Baby Bear Hugs, and they're Morgan County based, and it's all free. You can get medical help, they can do exams. Yeah, they help with childcare stuff, like how to raise kid, like nutritional stuff, that kind of stuff. So,
It's just sugar, right?
no.
Starch and carbs?
So yeah, they approached Zach,
That's cool.
asking if they could come set up on August 31st. They'll be there from 10 to noon.
Yeah.
Is
Nice.
when they'll be there. So, a good resource, somebody reaching out wanting to do something. So it's good to see just exploring everything as we continue to slowly grow, having those resources.
Well, I think it's good. It says something about our growth and what we're doing that others now wanting to be part
Yeah.
Right.
included in that. So I think that sends a good message for us.
I just want to tell you straight up that I am thoroughly impressed with everything that you've done and the amount of dedication that you've put into this. Just last night, Hannah had a game, obviously, in the 5 and 6-year-old thing, and just hearing the energy from the parents, and like they were talking about fall softball, and we were talking about other things, and just all this momentum that has been created for recreation opportunities and just community opportunities, I think is a testament to the work that you've done. I just want to make sure you know that publicly, that I thank you for that.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
there's a lot of good feedback going around right now
Good.
with the participation and just your involvement in it and your responsiveness to people and willing to listen to them, talk to them. We know it's huge in a small town.
Right.
You might not like what they say, but just
Smiling.
people want to talk. So as long as somebody's willing to listen to them or see what they have to say, somebody might have a good idea. So no, there is a lot of good feedback coming back from where you've taken it.
I
So
appreciate it.
it's good. August 31st, and then Christmas is next.
Yep.
So
Sweet. Thank you
Let's
guys.
do it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to talk about a few things. So Randy Ray, who is with Central Water. So we have an agreement, Knievel property. They put in some infrastructure. This was signed back in 2020. It was that $1.8 million worth the project. So our portion was $1.8 million. So the contract, let me get to it. Sorry. He reached out to Bo actually, and Bo forwarded me the email. I've been talking to Randy back and forth through email. And so what has happened is this was supposed to have been paid off in January 2021. We still currently owe $822,000. So we made a payment when we were supposed to. So we made the first 2 payments like we were supposed to.
And
And
what
then-
year was that, Chris?
2020.
And was Tom here then?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we made the first 2 payments like we were supposed to. And then the agreement that the town had signed was Central paid $230,000 for that portion that they bought. So that was deducted out of that $1.8 million. So I've talked to Randy. I told him that I want to get caught up on this, but I don't want to pay the full bounce this year. He said that he thought more than likely that would be fine. I asked him if we could pay $400,000 this year and then pay the remaining next year. What he also did say is that, and I need to talk to the contractor, if we don't use the 10 acre feet that we need between the 2 wells, we wouldn't have to pay as much. So it depends on how much water projection we need. So we have well 2C and 2D that should get us the 10 acre feet. If they don't, we have rights to 2F, well 2F, and that's what they're naming them. So, but there may be a chance that we don't need this 10 acre feet for how much water we need. And if that's the case, we wouldn't have to pay the full amount. That's why I don't want to pay the full amount this year either anyways, because I need to figure out where we stand and how much we need to allocate for that.
10 acre feet, if you divide that by 0.7, that's what it takes to run a house. Year.
Yeah. Well,
Basically, that'd be what?
well,
10 houses?
if I recall, these wells are only going to be used for the ponds on the Knievel property.
Right, but without augmentation, you gotta have the augmentation for the water you pump.
No, yeah, I know, but that's
And that- I
specifically
know
what
that's
they'd
what
be
it is.
used
I
for.
know that's what it all.
So I need to figure out, I need to talk to the contractor, figure out where we landed, or if they even have an idea. Because another thing is he wants to, they want to add on so that the information that Bo brought to us about them adding that additional 15-acre pond. He also wants to store all that dirt on the property permanently.
What's that worth to him?
So,
Hey,
There's an answer to that.
Mhm.
so I said, is there any compensation for the town for allowing permanent storage of the dirt? And his response was, as shown on the map that I sent Bo, the amount of fill is about 5 feet tall. The land can be farmed, because I asked him, how are you going to stop erosion and sand blowing? He said, well, the dirt can be farmed, so that'll stop the erosion. The way I understand the IGA and the conversations 5 years ago, Wiggins knew we would be spoiling all this dirt to make the ponds. The town will find out firsthand when you guys get the building, when you get to building your own ponds. I don't see need for approval of any of this. We want to go ahead. We want to be ahead of the game and inform the town of the intention. We do ask to place dirt over more than the IGA designated area and place dirt further north as shown on the map. So they don't want to compensate anything. They just want somewhere to store the dirt. And I've sent the agreement from 2020 to Melinda. And I think you emailed me back. I haven't read it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I don't think he's correct. That,
I agree.
yeah, I mean, that what they have is a temporary construction easement that allows them to use a small area to like access the property, to dig their ponds and do the pipelines. And then they have a permanent easement area for the structures themselves, the ponds and pipelines, but nowhere in that does it allow them to store dirt on the town property. Their easement is fairly limited in my perspective. And so if they want to do that, and if it's something the town is willing to consider, then we'll need another separate easement for that, in my opinion. And I think you can certainly ask that the town be compensated for that.
No, and that's why I asked him, because I read that whole contract 2 different nights trying to understand where this came from. And there is nothing in there that led me to think they could just put dirt wherever. Also, with the increase from the 30-acre surface to 35, that would need to be approved as well, because I do not see anywhere that says that they can do that.
Correct, yeah, and I mean, there's 3 areas located, like that are identified in the easement area where these ponds can be located. So if they're going outside of those areas, that would also require town approval.
Yeah. So in his email, he wants to start in September. I asked him if he would either come in person or join virtually August 14th, and he did agree to that. So we can talk to him in the work session. Branching off of that, I don't know, Bo, if you're going to talk about it tonight, but they're willing to pay half of the septic. I did tell them that I felt this was 100% their responsibility. And he came back and said, no. He said, we'll pay half. Send me the bill. That's all he said. So we need to get going on that. They'll pay half and then we just bill them. So that's the first thing. I think we need to address the back pay that was supposed to have been paid by January 2021. And I would like to address that in the amount of 400,000. And that would leave 422,000 left over, but I need to talk to the contractor to make sure that we need those 10-acre feet for
And then figure out.
the town's needs.
Difference.
And then if we don't,
Yeah.
maybe we only need
Shift and
8, we
adjust,
can
right.
make up, we would obviously, it would get cut. The amount would lower.
What I can't understand about this whole deal is he said that he's gonna have overburden. He's gonna have extra dirt.
Well, cause they're gonna dig another pond.
Usually when you dig the pond half down and the dirt is
So have you went out there and seen their ponds?
they look like they're any other pond.
But drive all the way to the east and it drops off 5 feet into that cornfield. They just took that dirt and just moved it the whole way around. And it's 5-foot drop off. There's a wall and stand planted with corn right up against that wall. It's 5 feet.
Straight up and down.
Yep, straight up and down. The whole, like pretty much the whole length of the property from north to south.
No, haven't seen that, Chris.
It butts up to the corner of the town property, that tree line that comes to an L in that northwest corner, and it runs pretty much all the way south.
I just going off of what Derek Popes, when they dug his, that's what they done. He did not have no overburden whatsoever.
Well, yeah, you usually dig down and then that you take the rest and you cap it. But that's not how these are done. It's a 5-foot drop off. I don't know. So, I just want you guys to understand, or I wanted to give you the information that I'm gonna have Nicole pay 400,000
Okay,
to Central.
well,
We gotta pay him, so yeah.
One more thing.
And we, let's get that memorialized in an amendment to the, IGA about when the payment is due. I think we can address that potentially with these easement issues, okay?
Okay, so we could talk about that in August.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Next,
What else you got, man?
Yeah.
it's getting better. Okay, so
That could be one of two things.
we currently owe the IRS $127,297.99 for back taxes from 2020, 2021, 2022. And we keep incurring interest and penalties. Nicole has been gracious enough to talk to the IRS a handful of times. Submitted paperwork to them, all kinds of stuff. What I want to do is just pay that balance off, $127,297.99 from back taxes. And then possibly there's one charge on here for 2021 fourth quarter that is a little high. So I want to look into, so Nicole can submit paperwork and see if we can get that rendered and taken care of. And then it would just show like as a credit. But we keep incurring interest and charges on these because they haven't been paid for those 3 years.
How did it get out of hand like that?
Don't ask me.
How does an auditor let it go?
I don't know. Once our town manager left, my phone doesn't stop ringing.
I asked you, Chris, why didn't somebody catch it?
Yeah,
The auditors.
particularly the auditors.
I don't know. I have no idea. Nicole's the one that found it.
We're lucky.
Number one, thank you for that.
Mhm.
Personally, that I would say like the auditor would need to stand before us and explain.
I agree.
I just don't think that's acceptable. I think you have to be responsible for your
Multiple
work.
years.
Multiple years. And yes, we dropped the ball, but auditors are supposed to catch that kind of stuff. The auditor needs to be standing up right there, right now, or at some point and explain. I think we're owed an explanation.
Yes.
Melinda, you got any ideas on that? Why that was missed?
No, I mean, so it's news to me too. Chris had mentioned something was going on and Nicole called me yesterday. I mean, I'd like to take a look at the notices we received just to kind of verify that they are allocating the taxes correctly. Yeah, I mean, because it does seem odd to incur such a high amount. And I don't know if that's something typically the accountant would do. I think, it might be beneficial to ask the accountant, if she's aware of anything.
So ask Yuli or Lorraine?
Lorraine. And we can ask Yuli too, sure.
Vaguely, I remember Lorraine telling me that she kept telling the town manager to pay this. And I forget the reason or what he had told her. Because once Nicole found it, we started talking to Lorraine about it. And she had told me something, she'd have to say it. I can't, I don't remember what she said. So do we move forward and pay this, or do we wait and just keep incurring fees that are gonna keep stacking up?
Well, I kind of agree with Melinda. I think we gotta give her some information. It sounds like you could help a little bit in at least deciphering that information. I don't think you can do it right this second, but if things line up, then we're gonna have to.
And do it.
Yeah.
And the only quarter that is out of line is the fourth quarter in 2021. All the other ones look fine. But we're getting $2,000 penalties, $4,000 penalties, $1,000 penalties, 3,000, 4,000, interest of 1,000, 1,500. Like it just keeps stacking up.
Well, if we do pay it right now, can't we get, if Melinda goes through it and she finds a mistake or something, can't we get reareimbursed for that?
It would just be a credit.
Right.
Credit
Well,
still is good.
Yeah.
money.
And that's why I want to stop the bleeding. We're just going to continue to stack up interest and fees.
Well, we don't have, there we are. We're the council, buddy. We're over the barrel with everybody. We don't.
I do want to look into it, and that's why me and Nicole had talked, because we can file paperwork to look into this. But that system, 6 weeks is what they're saying. By the time we file paperwork, it could be 6 weeks before they receive that, and then who knows how long after that.
It's real.
So we could be next year before we ever get anywhere, and now we've
Gonna
accrued
keep more
20,000
interest
more in penalties and
all
interest.
the other stuff.
If you pay it, you stop it.
Exactly.
Pay it, stop it, investigate.
Yep.
Yep.
I think that's what we should do.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pay that by July 31st, because that's the payoff. That payoff is for July
To that
31st.
time, and then it gets
Yes, and then
another,
it goes
Then
up.
you get another interest.
another round.
Yep.
Yep.
Melinda, is that doable?
I mean, you can pay it before July 31st. Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure how easy it is to get a reimbursement or even a credit from the IRS once you pay for something. I mean, I just don't know. We can certainly try, but if it can wait until your August 14th meeting, that would at least give us a little bit of time little time for me to review what's going on.
But then that interest kicks in after the 1st of August.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I just wanted to bring it to you guys.
Yeah.
Let's stop the bleeding.
I agree.
I think we have to.
Yeah, it's just not gonna get any better.
Clean it up.
Because we'll be racking up more interest and then Melinda don't work for free, so.
Well, and True.
Sorry.
And then Lorraine will come in. She's offered to come in and talk. So Lorraine can,
Let's stop the bleeding.
Well, yeah.
We don't have no choice.
But
Yeah.
I'd like to still hear
No, I still want to
from
hear.
Melinda, and I still
yeah,
want to hear it from the
yeah,
auditor, because
yeah.
that's garbage.
Yeah, it is.
And
No,
she
I-
might have insight there, and there were conversations we need to hear.
Yeah, we need to be privy to all that information, I think, as a board.
okay. Next, I've told you before, the Mike Miller closing, that should be done in August. So he's on vacation. So that should be done in August, so we can close on that. That was supposed to have been closed in 2021. So that'll be done. I talked about Central agreeing to pay half of the septic at the Knievel property house. I would like board approval to post another public works employee position. Currently, we need to hire another public works person. We've got public works people that are accruing a ton of comp time, enough to pay a full-time salary. So we need to cut way back on that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got enough going on in town that we need to have another person and just other circumstances.
So we have how many now? 3?
We have 2 full-timers
4? Yeah, we need another guy.
because our Rob's full-time, but he's parks.
Right.
And that's,
Dedicated.
he's
right.
park.
Dedicated to parks, yeah.
So,
Yeah. Post it.
okay,
We don't need to make a motion for that, do we, Melinda?
no,
I don't think so.
okay. Nicole, will you post that? Please. And it should be the same description that we had previous to Rob 2 months ago, if you would, please. August 17th is the farmer's market from 9 to 1. Cynthia Pope is the one heading that up. I've talked to her quite a few times. She's got other vendors coming. So there's that. There's some food trucks gonna set up. So that'll all be at Teets. So it should be a good turnout. She's got quite a bit of produce coming in, so.
I'll talk to my buddy about that. Maybe we can play some music too.
Yeah.
while it's going on.
Yep, so that's happening, and then we're gonna make the first payment for Double Wide. They needed half of it a month out
Mhm.
for August 31st. Everything is a go there. I've got 7 food trucks lined up, the band, the beer garden. I think that's it. Oh, and tractor pulls, we're having tractor pulls that day, and then bear hugs or whatever is coming in, so
Mhm.
it'll be a full day. The tractor pulls will be in the morning, and I'll get more info out on that. It will be at Charlie Rule's property.
Yeah.
Just right
This is right over here.
off of Central, or off of
Corona.
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 Sorry.
Yep.
Off of Corona, so we'll get that all figured out and I'll get that posted, so.
Okay.
That's,
I like it.
yeah, I don't know. It's been busy. I don't know if I,
Have you got any other good news, Chris?
oh, you want good news? I don't. The sun's still out.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be 100 degrees tomorrow. No, I think, I don't know, like Zach said, the 4th of July turned out excellent.
It was-
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody, and I've said it, thanks to everybody that volunteered and helped. That was it just gets better and better every year.
Yep.
So,
It does.
um,
And speaking of the 31st, are we hoping this grows into like kind of a fall festival?
that's what I would like.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would make sense.
Like it.
Oh, and then me and, you'll see it on the packet, me and, Nicole had, I don't know, about an hour-long Zoom meeting with BMO. Just talking about how we can set up auto pay to pay for our Knievel property, the interest only. And so for some of you that don't understand how that works, I didn't really understand it until I got clarification on the phone. So that's an interest only payment. So we pay an interest only and then we pay into a sinking fund.
Right.
So it's a 10-year agreement. That's what that sinking fund is set up for, is in 10 years, it'll have the full $2.7 million in it or whatever, that property was supposed to be part of the USDA grant. We all know where we're at on that. We've got 6 years, so 5 years. So with that, at the end of the 10 years, in that sinking fund, there'll be plenty of money to pay off that property as if we were paying it normally. So if we get the loan, we would get that money back from the sinking fund or the grant. So that's how that works. That's why there's usually 2 payments every quarter. Nicole's gonna set that up to where it just automatically comes out of our account now instead of having to run a check to Fort Morgan for it. So that'll be a lot easier, more convenient. I like convenient. So I got some clarification on that. The guy's been really helpful. He's also helping us. That was one of our things we needed to get done for budget, was they had to fill out some paperwork showing how much interest and payments and stuff we made last year. So we need to get a login on their website and give it to the CPA, and then we'll be done with that. But that'll take not too long, a day, by the time we get everything done. So that happened, and then yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna leave you with that. That's about it. Bo, what do you got? Do you want to talk now, or do you have something in the agenda?
Have the discussion with Miller and Associates, that'd be fine too.
No, if you got a few updates, go ahead.
Okay.
Get back to the agenda.
Just want to bring you up to date on a variety of topics with regard to Public Works. As far as the status of different employees, Craig Dorenzo has moved on to other employment as of the end of the month. Mark DuBois is on a restricted work schedule because of some health issues he's having. Jared Clement is on a restricted work schedule due to some knee issues he's having. Roger is on vacation this week, and Adam Becker quit last week. So we've been kind of shorthanded this week. And as you're aware, we had the lightning strike at the booster station Friday night and the problems with the RO on Saturday. And then we had a water leak that took quite a while on Monday, and another one that was plumber induced today. So it's been pretty busy for us. I just wanted to bring up on some of the things that are going on at the park that Chris has given us a list about. The shade sail material for the extended shade sails at Teats is on its way. It should be here yet this week. The material for getting the pit on the tents of the shade sail and the amphitheater was delivered this morning from Revelation Steel. All the warning tracks and the baseline clay and sand areas have now been sprayed again with weed killer, and including the rock areas and at the playgrounds at Teats and High Plains. It appears that we now have 4, and I haven't had a chance to talk with Zach about this because we just got word on it last night. It looks like we now have 4 committed donors to provide poles and lights for the paycheck field.
Oh, no kidding.
We've been in communication with a couple other businesses that are maybe willing to pay for the conduit and the wiring, and then we think we might be able to get an electrician to do the hookup for no money. So we may be able to get lights on Paycheck the way we've got lights on Teats, basically by the good graces of the different businesses that have agreed to commit to buy the poles and the lights.
That's awesome. That is good.
All the sprinkler systems for the first time in 9 years at the park are now fully automatic. And we're not having to go over in the morning and turn a number of them on. So needless to say, we're kind of excited about that. The next phase is to get the drip lines into the planter boxes, and we made allowances when we did the updates on the sprinkler valves and that kind of thing to make that a relatively easy hookup. So that's one of the things we'll be working on, so that we don't have to put all the time in to water the flowers and the bushes that we now have in there. And then all we'll have to do on a as needed basis, usually daily, depending on the weather, the medians and here in front of Town Hall and on Main Street. So we're working on that. And we've even devised a way that we can keep the Old Trail School system watering automatically. Thankfully, today, the last garage door was completed at the event, what everybody's calling the Pavilion Building. So we're pretty excited about that. Okay, at the RO plant, King Lee is scheduled to be out soon, potentially next week, to hook up the interface and the monitoring system. They were here a couple of weeks ago when we gave them the PO that you guys approved to look at things and help us address an issue with the anti-scalant. They intend to go ahead and physically do the connections they need, and then we will have, again, our daily look at it, the licensed water operators weekly look at it, and their periodic, probably every day or every other day, look at it as well. So we'll, the RO seems to be working fine up until the lightning strike that knocked out the power in Orchard and Weldona for a couple hours on Friday night. I don't know if it's related to it or if it's just coincident, but we lost the battery backup on one of the skids and we lost one of the flow controls on one of the chemical pumps. Those parts were supposed to be in today. They didn't show up today, so I imagine they'll show up tomorrow. We've been running the plants manually since Friday night. So that takes a little bit of extra time if you're wondering why you see me running around different hours of the day. And we have made arrangements. They should have called me already this week. Our calibrator and flow verifier on the meters at the RO and for the sewer plant is going to be up this week so that we can get that information off to CDPHE through our water operator, because that has to be done on a yearly basis as well. At the sewer plant, the new influent sensor is in and calibrated. The new influent grate and lift has been installed. We will seek council approval in a future meeting for use of remaining dollars on an ARPA grant for a grinder and conveyor that obviously Miller and Associates will be talking to you as they get information as well. The fence along the west side of the sewer plant along North Main has been replaced, which was a CDPHE item from their audit just a couple of months ago. And the culvert between the wasting pond and the north retention pond has been removed and filled in, which was also a CDPHE requirement from their visit. The lift station, the electrical service will be in by mid next week to the grinder. I just picked up all the last of the components yesterday with the exception of a T, and that T got in. I just couldn't get over to Fort Morgan quick enough before they closed to where we can get that done. We're getting that work done for less than $2,500, and the other two bidders were at $5,000 and $7,000. So we think that that's a great deal, and that's within the budget that you guys have allowed us from several meetings ago.
Do we have a time frame?
Like I said, as soon as the electrical's in, then we're going to go ahead and set the grinder in. So I would imagine wouldn't be unlikely that we don't have the grinder in by the end of next week. Okay. Or the beginning of the week following, but just it depends on if anything else breaks in town in the interim. The fencing material to expand out around the grinder vault and to protect our electrical box and just make sure that nobody messes with that or thinks that it would be fun to get down into the grinder vault. We got the fencing material in today as well to expand out around the existing lift station. We think it's a good idea to make sure that nobody can get into that.
No, we need that.
Yeah. And to the lift station, just in case you're aware, we are checking the lift stations daily as part of the rounds. And we've been doing that basically since we started having problems with it last summer. So some of the guys in Public Works weren't aware that we were doing that daily until started putting it on a written basis, but now it's getting checked by the person that does the rounds, and then typically once each by Roger and I, just to make sure that we don't have any issues until that grinder is up and running. Booster station, we have now got the A-frame building that we moved off the basketball court when we decided to build the building and move that into the booster station. As of today, that is all wrapped in steel to support the siding. We've still got to get some of the vertical supports up, but I imagine that'll be done by tomorrow. The third and Karen project, to give you an update on that, we have now gotten all the bids for the different folks that want to do that work, and we were going to go ahead and start releasing that. I've had a conversation with Bruce since he's just down at the other end of the street. We're going to get the citizens together and just make them aware of what we're doing and give them one last chance to express their opinions and suggestions before we kick that off. On the roof updates, I do have a low bid for the roof for Town Hall and a low bid for the roof at the Knievel property, but I have not looked to see exactly how much money is left on the insurance claim before, so I was gonna do that before we let that go, and then I'll make sure that you guys are aware of it, just to make sure that you're okay with that. Okay. Chris kind of gave you an update on the Knievel pond status, so we will go ahead and go forward with the septic vault, the submersible pump, and putting the leach field off to the northwest. And now that CCWCD has agreed to pay half, our exposure is going to be about $2,500. The Camber hog ponds, we did go ahead and get our fabricated grate on the headgate trough in that will allow us to now, rather than have to go out a couple of times a year and either shut off the water and then clean out that trench either by hand, which is a multiple day deal, or by the Mini X, which is like a half day deal. We have now put in a lifting weir setup that we will do the connections on as soon as the flows taper off. That what we can do is now clean that trench just by raising the weir up and back down as water is flowing to clean that. Thanks to the guys in Public Works that fabricated that. And then we've got additional info on the Kiowa Bijou or South Main non-potable water line, but I thought we'd let Miller and Associates bring you up to date on what they have. And then I had a half-an-hour conversation with Greg Edel from DOLA today prior to sending off an email, and I'd like to discuss that with you guys at a later date.
Exactly what is Miller doing on non-pot?
They can,
Yeah,
he's
they're-
here.
they're on-
Lauren's zoomed in, so you can go ahead and have them cover that, because I thought it would be beneficial
We
for you
have an
guys
I-
to
yeah.
get introduced to Lauren and bring you up to date on the water tower project, the wastewater plant project, the non-pot project, and the Third and Chapman paving project. So that you could ask questions as to where they are, and she can let you know what they've been asked to do and what they have been told to hold off on and that kind of thing. I just think it would be better to hear it from Lauren.
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Hey, that talk you're gonna have with Third and Karen citizens, when do you plan on doing that?
Need to get a hold of King Miller and talk to Steve Hogger, talk to Bruce. Had an initial conversation a couple weeks ago with Milt, so there, and the homeowner at the end is also available. It'll be sometime this week, about 4:30, 5 o'clock, as soon as I can just get everybody together.
Will you,
5 to 10 minutes.
will you let me know,
Yes.
please? Also, we're looking into lightning arresters for the RO and the water tower.
My thing is getting the information on what they've been
Yep.
using to protect their comp system.
Yeah, so we're looking into that. It's something we have to get.
Yeah.
So we'll be coming with a price to put lightning arresters out there. Cause it's been twice this year, third time. Yeah,
Jeez,
so we need to get that taken care of.
for sure.
Okay, any board of trustees have anything? You guys got anything good?
You're a hell of a mayor.
Oh, thank you. Okay, nobody has anything? Nicole, did you have anything? Okay. All right, next is approval of bills July 2024.
Bo, are we caught up?
No. For Jones?
And then we are completely caught up.
Yeah. So as he's doing work, we've given him the understanding that we would like these relatively right after he's doing the work so that we can bill it at that time. And he's agreed, so he's been giving them to us. So.
That portable toilet, is that the one that tipped over at the park? Just kind of
Well, there's
curious.
one at Kiowa Park too.
Is there one at Kiowa Park
Yeah.
too? That one didn't tip over, did it?
No.
Okay,
It's anchored.
Did they pick that toilet up?
yeah.
I don't know that we've received the bill yet for the 3 toilets
I don't
for the
think we
4th of
have.
July. That's
No.
the one that tipped over must have been the one at Kiowa Park.
No.
No, it was,
We haven't received the one for the ones at Kiowa Park or for the ones at Teets. We get billed monthly for the one at Kiowa Park. It sits there from May to September.
right.
Did you go pull it back over? They only weigh like 20 pounds.
No, but yeah, but I think somebody else did though.
Oh, perfect. At least no one was in it.
It looked like it was empty, didn't have any solution or anything like that in it either. I just thought that was interesting. And what was the rock for? The 90-ton of rock?
So that's all the rock around the pavilion, the amphitheater. We removed all the mulch on the where the pine trees are around all of Teets. We removed all the mulch and put rock down. So
That'd be much better.
and
Yeah, that
we
was-
still need about 60 more ton
Yeah, there
Okay.
was 3 semi-loads so far that got put down at Tees
Got it.
Park.
All
because
right.
we've got more work. We're removing all the mulch and putting rock down because
Okay.
we spend that amount in mulch every year.
It's incredible how much mulch you have to put down and how easy it's still penetrate, the weeds penetrate.
Well, it blows away.
Yeah, it
blows
blows
away, yeah.
away.
Yeah, true.
Mhm.
We're gonna keep our fields looking way better than the high school baseball field.
Well, that's on record.
Yeah, that's what that was
I
about.
have no other question.
Okay. Someone make a motion.
Make a motion to approve the bills.
I'll
For,
second it.
oh, sorry, Jerry still seconded it, but approve the bills for June 2024.
There you go. I'll
So
second.
yeah, you're right, for July. Darn it.
Okay, motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Hertzman, seconded by Trustee Schwint. Roll call, please.
Trustee Jerry Schwint,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem David Herbstman,
Yes.
Trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Steve Pro,
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes. Next, financials, budget, or actual to budget. So this is something we've been allocating to the line items. It's with us having to pay 400,000, 127,000, the other payments we've made, it's gonna look a little janky. What I want you to focus on is the bottom line. A lot of the main categories are fine. Water will be fine, sewer will be fine. We just received sales tax for the second quarter. So
Oh, but yeah.
that was 75,000.
5,000.
So good.
So overall, we're doing okay. We're fine. One thing, and we'll talk about it in a minute, but one thing I'm gonna hold off on is Third and Chapman, because with having to pay out $527,000, that's a project we can't do this year.
Right.
And obviously the splash pad's out of the picture this year. It's something we can readdress at a later time, but that obviously will show in the budget. I'm going to start looking at the budget for next year and start working on it so that we can be ready with it by November. So I'm gonna slowly start working on it. I don't think it's gonna take too long. There's some projections that I have to put in there, so stuff like that, but it'll look relatively similar to this year. And then a few other things depending on what we want to do as a board for improvements and where we want to spend money at. So I'm going to start working on the budget. That way, come October, November, we can pass the budget for next year.
And I know I read it someplace, but where is this 427,000 coming from?
For what?
For the back payments?
That's gonna have to general, or I'll have to talk to Lorraine. It'll probably come out of general.
Okay.
Cause we can look at the 2021 budget and see where it got allocated at. It might have been in water and sewer. I'm not sure. But with it being 4 years ago, that's a long time.
I hear you.
And the same with the taxes. Obviously, there's a line item for that, so that'll show there. So we're gonna show a big differential there.
The two things you want to keep clean right now, water and sewer.
Yeah, and
So it
they're
needs
clean.
like, so what you should do is take it out of general.
Yeah, and that was my plan, was to take it out of general, and I think I mentioned that to Nicole, that we'd pull it out of general. But water and sewer look fine.
Yeah.
So
Just don't mess with those.
we should be good. But yeah, it might look a little, I don't know. It's, for the most part, up to date. There's still moving numbers, obviously, just like a budget always has. But I'm gonna start working on next year so we can get that done.
I guess that's why our audits always look so good. We're paying them bills.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. So I guess I'm gonna start working on it, the budget, and I'll talk to you guys in September about what kind of projects you want to do next year. So we can put that in there and show that.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know. If you guys are ready, I'll take a motion. Whenever you're ready.
I make a motion to approve the financials actual to budget.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Hertzman, seconded by Trustee Schwint. Roll call, please.
Trustee Steve Pro,
Yes.
trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes,
Mayor Pro Tem David Herbstman,
Yes.
trustee Jerry Schwint,
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes, financials actual to budget passed. All right, next up is public comment. The Board of Trustees welcomes you and thanks for your time. We ask that you, if you wish to approach the board about a concern or a comment, this is the only time set aside for you in the agenda to do so. When you are recognized, please step to the microphone, state your name and address. Your comment will be limited to 3 minutes. The board may respond to your comments. The board may not respond to your comments this evening. Rather, we may take them under your comments and suggestions under advisement and provide direction to the appropriate member of town staff. Is there anybody, public comment? Man, I need to get glasses. I can't even see that. Let's see.
Can we have them raise their hand on there
If
so we
you
can see
are
it?
on Zoom
Can
and you
you-
want to speak, please raise your hand.
Use that raise hand feature so we can.
They might just.
You also might need to pull that participant list just a smidge to the left to be able to see that.
They just might want to listen to us.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any hands up. All right.
Okay. All right. The time is now 7:56. The public comment section is now closed. All right. Next up is update on town projects, Miller and Associates.
I think that's me.
That's you.
I am Lauren Benton with Miller and Associates. Thank you guys for your time this evening, I guess it is. So Bo asked me just to pop in with you guys and give you kind of an update and let you ask any questions that you might have on some of the water, wastewater projects. Just as a background, we've worked with the town since probably about 2014 on various projects. So we have a lot of knowledge on the town. We did the lift stations in town, worked on some various water and wastewater projects throughout there. I think you guys are probably most interested on some updates about, I guess, the Kiowa Bijou pipeline and where things stand maybe on the water storage tank and the booster pump station, if I understand that correctly.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with the Kiowa Bijou pipeline. I don't know how familiar you guys are with the project, but the point of that project is to construct a new 8-inch potable water line that would go from the existing water storage tank to serve Kiowa Park. Once that's constructed, the existing line, which is a mix of 4-inch and 8-inch piping, would be converted to a non-potable irrigation line that could use the Kiowa Bijou wells to irrigate town parks, ball fields, that sort of stuff. So that project started, I guess maybe last year at some point. Previous town manager had gone after a DOLA grant. At the time, that cost estimate, I think, was received by a local contractor for about $326,000. So I believe that the DOLA grant is a 50-50 match.
Yes.
And so the DOLA funding of the project is about $163,000. When the project was bid, it came in at about $550,000, which is $223,000 over the anticipated cost that was used for the DOLA funding. So we were asked to reduce the scope of work, which included removing some of the paving and doing open cut instead of boring for County Road P. So that reduces the scope of work, thereby the hopeful construction cost. So then we rebid that project on, let's see, June 28th. And the low bid came in at $421,000. So that's where we stood at as of the end of June. Bo and a gentleman in our office, Mike, had talked to DOLA to see if it would be possible to get additional grant funding to cover the difference between the $326,000 and the $421,000. Mike at the time inquired to DOLA if that would be possible to get additional grant funding so that you were able to do a 50-50 match to DOLA. And so I guess we'll speak with Bo about that if the town wants to even go forward with asking for additional funding from DOLA. We'll certainly work through the town on that process. We only reached out to them to see if it was possible to get additional funding, not to obligate anybody to any project or any funding from DOLA. So that is where that project stands now. And I spoke with Bo maybe yesterday, and I did want to just mention to you guys that when this project was done and on our construction drawings, a portion of that 8-inch line was proposed to be installed by the Thomas developer. And so on our drawings, it shows a portion of that to be installed, and that the town has those construction plans. Those construction plans date back to probably 2020 or 2021. Without that portion of the project installed, you do not have a complete project. And we haven't had any correspondence with the Thomas developer or anything like that. So I just want you guys to understand that if we do go forward with that Kiowa Bijou project, we have the portion on our construction drawings shows that would be completed. And without that done, and I'm unsure as to where that stands and what the conversations were with the town and the Thomas developer, but without that being done, it's not going to be a complete project. It's not going to be as intended at the time yet. So to have a successful project, as you guys intend those 2 water lines to be used, that portion of the project does need to be completed. And that was outside of our scope of work. So I do just want to give you guys a heads up on that. I don't know where that stands with the Thomas developer, but it's important for you guys to know that. So
what part of that project would that be then?
So it's a significant portion of the project of the 8-inch water line from down Main Street, basically, from 5th to County Road P. So at the time that I believe that at the time that the Thomas project came in, they were obligated to put in a water line that ran down Main Street.
Correct.
And I don't think that that has been completed. But I think that there were talks of that being completed in the near future, and that is the piece that the pipeline that we have in our drawings connects into.
So your drawings are pretty much the connection at P in Maine, and then the pipeline from Main Street to the ball fields.
Yeah, to the existing water storage tank, yes.
Okay.
And there's connections and disconnections in our drawings that were included in the part that we had designed to take the existing potable line right now and disconnect it and make it into the potable line. But you wouldn't have that other you wouldn't have the 8-inch potable line done until the Thomas development put that in.
Where are these drawings at?
Which drawings?
The drawings you're talking to. I've never seen these drawings you're referring to.
There was a set in Tom's office and I now have a set.
Yep, the town should have them, and then we have a copy of the plans from the developer, and I think they date back to 2020 or 2021, and we can certainly get those back to you guys, but we got those from the town, so I believe that you should have those plans as well.
And as you'll recall, there were discussions back and forth with the Thomases about the town's participation in providing material, and the Thomases would put the line in and the town would pay for a portion of that. And then the Thomases, it's my understanding, would pay back as the development was finished out.
Yeah, because part of the contract is as they build out, they put the water line in.
Yeah, and I correct me if I'm wrong, Lauren, but what you're trying to get across is that if we do not get the 8-inch line down West Main, we have not completed our agreement with DOLA, as well as the project is considered incomplete.
The portion that is under contract with DOLA would be complete. That's the
complete,
portion
yeah.
that we've designed. It wouldn't be, you wouldn't be able to use it as it was intended.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so
Because that, you know, that's the new line is the water line that would supply the potable water, and we wouldn't be able to take the existing, this is all confusing, the existing potable line and turn it into the non-pot line until that water line was completed by the Thomas.
That's
Iowa
correct.
Park doesn't need water, do they? I don't think those residents need
That's his
water.
resident. No, no.
So yeah, we'd have a 50% complete project. Which
Yeah,
doesn't-
it just wouldn't be,
Okay.
you wouldn't be able to use it as it was intended
Okay,
until
All
that's
right.
done.
next.
You know anything about the non-pot line that was supposed to be talked about on the east side of Main Street? Not even involved in this. It's not even involved in with these two pipelines that you're talking about. It's strictly a non-pot line. Have you ever
Well,
been talked?
If you completed this project, the water line on the east side of Main Street would be converted into a non-pot line.
We're not gonna, I don't think we're gonna have time to work with Thomas's we need non-pot water now. 33% of our water is going to irrigation.
Yep,
If
treated
we get
water
that
that you're,
non-pot line in, we don't need no big contractor and all the fancy stuff. They put in irrigation lines every day for the farmers. And that would be the way to go. And I think we can get an easement from Dennis's or not.
Norm.
Dennis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Norm Dennis.
And we're working on that right now. But we got to talk to DOLA about that because it might not even fall into the scope.
Well, it ain't gonna cost that much.
No, I know. But we're working on, or Bo's working on that.
Yeah, again, what we wanted to do was investigate all the options, primarily because an awful lot of time and money has been spent to try and get the potable line down the west side of Maine and then have the existing line be non-potable, but that may not be feasible, especially in light of some of the other things that are going on with the town.
Yeah. So
Well, and I mean, we're at Thomas's
We could be 10 years.
Yeah, we don't know how fast that's gonna build up.
And again,
Well, and that's why I wanted to bring that to your attention
Yep.
was because we have worked with towns and communities that have developers and some of the stuff that you think is going to take off and be built in a year ends up 10 years or never gets done. So I did just want to bring that to your attention that
Yeah.
that the bids were opened on June 28th. So the contractors will hold those bids for 3 months, 90 days.
Yep.
So that gives us until September 28th, I think.
Yep.
But I did want to just, as you guys were considering this project, I did want to bring that to your attention.
Yeah, and we're exploring that other option. So we're gonna figure that out, see what it's gonna
Okay.
cost.
and again, that's why I thought it was important for Lauren to, and or Mike to explain
Yeah.
where they were and what's been done
Well,
up to this
and
point.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it because, I mean, we've known all along that what Tom was trying to do was, I don't know what he was trying to do.
I don't know either. All right, Lauren, what can we talk about? Water and sewer.
Yep. Let's start with the booster pump station and the storage tank. So several years ago, Diamondback, which was acquired by Miller and Associates, we had worked on several preliminary engineering reports, both for the water and the wastewater. Those have evolved over several years, basically because of trying to get all of the projects that might come up in the town included in one engineering report, one grant or one loan grant application for USDA, one environmental study. So over the years, those have kind of they've been revised. The booster pump and the storage tank, those were kind of a high priority in the water system PER. We have done some preliminary layouts for that project. We have gone through and solicited geotech firms, but I don't think that those ever got cut loose. So we've done some preliminary work. We have looked, we've put together site sketches for that, solicited geotech, which means that they would go out and do borings for the water storage tank. Because as Bo said, you don't want 150-foot tall water tank sinking into the ground. So that's kind of where that stands right now. No formal engineering has been done on that project, or I guess design engineering. We have provided cost estimates to the previous town manager and engineering contracts, and just kind of been on hold for those. So that's kind of where that project stands. I guess the USDA, I'm sure, well, I'm sure you guys know, the USDA had obligated some funds to the town probably maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Those got turned back in hopes of providing a larger project and potentially getting some additional funding from USDA. And so we had updated the preliminary engineering report for the water system, looking at a different phasing plan for the various projects that were outlined in that. And I think that it was updated last in the end of 2022, 2023, or beginning of 2023. So I don't think that ever got submitted to USDA. And there was also a portion of the environmental assessment. So when you do a USDA application, you have to do an environmental assessment. It covers bugs and bunnies and archaeological, historical preservation, all sorts of different agencies are involved. We did solicit the historical company or the historical survey company to provide additional survey for that. And that was, I can give you kind of a time frame on that. That was the end of 2023, December of 2023. They had provided a proposal to the town to do the additional work that was needed for the environmental study. I got an email from her in April asking if that project was still moving forward, and at that time it was just kind of on hold. So that's kind of where that stands on the water projects for, I guess, as for the booster pump station and the tank. What questions can I answer on that?
Nothing to ask.
That's
Yeah, it's
not,
nothing to ask if there's nothing.
yeah, and
going
that's
on.
nothing to do with Knievel property, correct?
No, not really.
Okay.
Other than, you know, you've got the augmentation and that sort of stuff that ties into the water system, but specifically as those projects go, we've done the just kind of general layouts, and we had given that to the town manager, and solicited a couple of proposals for additional work, and I don't think that those ever move forward.
Do you have sketches of where our ponds are going at Knievel?
So if we switch over to wastewater, so that
Yeah,
was kind
sorry,
of
we're-
covered.
Yeah,
That's
we're
okay.
going to wastewater now.
That's fine. If we switch over to wastewater, so same thing, we had done a preliminary engineering report for wastewater projects. We had outlined, really it was kind of a set of three, or it was a kind of a compilation of three big projects. So it was potentially a new wastewater treatment facility at the existing plant. And then it was a lift station at the existing plant that would pump treated effluent to the Knievel property. And then at the Knievel property was, I think we started with 2 ponds with the ability to maybe expand to 3 or 4. And that went through, there was a water court case for that. I'm sure you guys are probably familiar with that. That I think got settled back last summer,
Yes.
2023.
Yep.
So I do have drawings of, if you guys are interested, I do have drawings of where those ponds were proposed to go. Leonard Rice is another, they had done some work for the town, and we worked kind of in conjunction with them. But they certainly have some details about where the ponds were proposed to go and how deep they needed to be and the size that they needed to be.
So could you send those to me,
Yeah.
please?
Does that have anything to do with North Central Water? Or is that just?
No, these would be different ponds. So also used for augmentation, but these would be used to store effluent from the wastewater treatment facility.
Mhm.
And then either discharge that to the South Platte, or you would have a groundwater discharge.
Right.
And that would probably need to be completed after or at the time you were considering a new wastewater treatment facility. Yeah. Because at the time that you do your ponds, if you're looking at, you're gonna have a new discharge location then, either the South Platte or a groundwater discharge. So you're gonna get a new discharge permit likely with different limits. So then at the time that you did your wastewater treatment facility, you would wanna make sure that whatever was implemented for the new wastewater treatment facility would be able to meet those limits at the Knievel.
Mhm.
I don't know when the town's ever gonna come up with that much money to run a pipeline,
Yeah.
6 miles
7 miles.
and 2 bores. What-
And how many easements?
Counts.
Okay. Yeah, if you could send me those drawings, I would appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, what other, anything else on that? What other projects do you have?
Back in June, so, well, let me start over.
Oh, Third and Chapman, yeah.
Third and Chapman. Let's talk
Sorry,
about
let's
that.
let's talk about that one.
That's okay. So that's I think a stormwater project. Bo had spoken with Mike about that project. We had provided a cost estimate for that project, and I can pull that up. I think it was about 1.1 million for that project.
For Third and so it would have been, yeah, new road, sidewalk, curb gutter.
She might,
Yep.
Lauren, you might be confusing Third and Karen with Third and Chapman.
I hope Third and Karen ain't 1.1
No,
million.
no.
I say there's no way.
No.
Third
Fuck.
Karen would be on.
I can pour concrete.
But again, I don't know that we're calling Third and Chapman a stormwater project.
Yeah, we shouldn't be.
Right, because it's not a stormwater.
No,
Well,
you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bo, you're right.
It's paving project.
No, that one is paving, storm
Yeah.
sewer inlets, piping to tie
Oh,
into
so it
existing
includes-
downstream infrastructure.
Right.
Yes.
And then sidewalk, curb and gutter improvements, that sort. So we had put together in June, just a preliminary cost estimate, conceptual cost estimate. And I think that was about, 1.1 million for that. And then the Karen and Third Avenue, I think that one was about $300,000. And that would have been the, drainage improvement project.
Correct.
And Bo, I think that do you have those cost estimates? Did Mike send those to you?
I know, we just had conversations about it and then,
Okay.
was waiting for direction from the council as to what to do on that.
Okay,
And-
so
and
we've got those.
We've looked at some other options.
Okay. Yeah, we've got those preliminary cost estimates. They're just conceptual, but they would at least give you guys an idea of what we've included in that cost estimate as far as what quantities and such.
Has the
Thank
survey
you.
been done on that yet?
Not on our end. We were just asked to provide a cost estimate.
Are you talking about the survey for Third and Chapman, Bruce?
Third and Chapman or Third and Karen?
Yeah. Because
It's
we haven't done
different,
anything
either
on,
one of them.
we haven't done anything on Third and Karen yet.
No.
And Mike came out and got all the information in terms of what was gonna need to be done on Chapman Street between Third and Fourth, and what was gonna need to be done on on Third between Main and Chapman.
So he
But-
found
but-
all the
but no-
pins and where the property lines and
Yes.
everything was?
As far as I know, after he came out, he got all of the different distances, and I think that's where they've come up with the numbers for the Third Chapman. And
Do you have those drawings as well that you could send me? For the third?
I
and
will
Chapman?
get with Mike on that.
Okay. If you would, please.
Yep.
Okay, what other projects do you got?
I think that was it, wasn't it, Lauren? Or did you
Yeah,
have
the
other-
only other thing was the aeration project with the new aeration system out at the wastewater treatment facility.
Right.
That was done in 2023 and used ARPA funding.
Yep.
Conversations with the previous manager in June indicated that there was additional ARPA funding left. Bo, I think you said 140. I thought maybe we were at 110, 120.
Okay,
So if that is something that you guys are looking at using, I think that money needs to be spent by 2025.
that's correct. Has to be
Um,
committed this year and spent by 2025.
Yep.
Okay,
So,
we need to figure out way to spend that money. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
and
free
again,
money.
the challenge is that Miller and Associates would have to design the grinder and conveyor for the existing wastewater plant, and then CDPHE has to approve it before anything can go forward. But
So that's the only project they could go for? For the ARPA funds?
For
it has to be
for the sewer.
something related to the wastewater plant. Because we got funding for the new mixers and aerators, and then there was money left over. And the new mixers and aerators have been running since the end of the year.
So we couldn't use it for the grinder on Johnson lift station?
That's actually what the first part of the ARPA grant was used for the stuff on the grinders, was my understanding. Is that not correct, Lauren? Or was it
I'm
just
not
for the
certain about
wastewater?
that. I only know
Okay.
that it was used to pay for the aeration project.
I don't think it was used for that.
Okay,
grinder.
so it was just for the aerators and then for the grinder over
So
there.
why couldn't we use it to pay for that grinder?
I don't know that that was in the scope of work for the grant,
It's still.
because I'm coming in on the tail end of this just
Yeah.
as Lauren
No,
is, so,
we all are.
Yeah.
We're stuck in 2021.
yeah.
We need to look into that.
'Kay.
Cause that'd be an easy way to use that money. Cause that's part of the wastewater.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if
Yeah. If
we have
it
to look at
depends on
what the
verbiage
grant
and all
spells
that.
out. We have to honor whatever the grant spells
Yeah,
out.
no, I agree.
It's worth investigating.
All right, let's look into that.
So Lauren, I'll get with you with regard to what the dollar amount is and then take direction from the council as to what to try and get committed before the end of the year. So we
Yeah,
can,
and I'm not purveyed to grant application for that ARPA funding, but that was the last I heard was that there was $120,000
Okay,
that hadn't been used on that for that.
okay.
So hey, free money.
That's right. You're right.
And I would be surprised if the grant was super specific.
I don't
And that
think
you
it
wouldn't
is.
Yeah, I would be surprised at that. So
Nope.
definitely something to look into to see if it could be used for other necessities throughout the town.
I'm pretty sure the ARPA grant is just free money that's given to you to use for upgrades and projects.
Okay.
I'm almost pretty sure that's the way it is, because I've looked into it and I've had citizens ask me about it. They have dealt with it in other municipalities.
Yeah, I know it's been used for several different types of projects
Yeah.
for municipalities, whether your specific, funding is tied to anything, that would definitely be
Well,
worth
we
looking
already
into.
paid for the grinder. Are they gonna back pay us, or how did, that's stuff we gotta figure out.
We've paid for the vault. The grinder bill was holding off on okaying. We just got the bill like a week and a half ago when the grinder arrived.
Okay, so we need to figure out that ARPA.
Okay.
Like ASAP, and figure out if we can use that to pay for that grinder, because that was what, 40-some thousand?
Yes.
Be a big deal.
Yeah.
Be a big deal.
That'd be huge.
Okay.
And then I'll find a way to spend the other 80,000 on something.
Well, it's gotta be wastewater related, so we could
Yeah,
get a grinder over at the sewer plant.
well, that'd be nice.
It will buy you time until
Yes,
we can get the new wastewater plant figured out.
correct. All right, so we got till 2025. Yeah, I think that is right. To spend that money. So December 2025. Okay. All right, what other projects do we have?
I think that's it.
Is that it? Okay. All right, yeah, if you could send me those drawings, Lauren,
Yep.
and I appreciate you taking time out of your night to talk to us.
Yeah, no problem. And if you're ready to move forward with anything, we're happy to help. We don't want to spend anyone's money without direction from town or boards or anything. So we're happy to move forward with any projects, or if you guys need any just assistance with any, sorting through some of this stuff, we're happy to help.
Okay. All right. Nope. We appreciate you sitting down and talking with us.
This is
Yeah, no
really-
problem.
Yeah, we'd love to
And
do
we
this again.
we did pull together a memo outlining some of the old projects, where we're at on some of the other ones. I will get that to Bo, and he can share that with you guys if you're interested in that. And it just gives kind of a summary on what we've done, where some of the other projects are at.
If you would, please.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Next up, public hearing on budget amendment. All right, resolution number 27-2024, a resolution amending the 2023 budget by increasing the appropriations and estimated beginning fund balance for the 1% sales tax capital improvement projects fund, by increasing the appropriations for the water fund, and by increasing the appropriations and estimated transfers from other funds for the sewer fund. Nicole? Do you have information?
I do not have information. I know there was,
So I can
This-
talk a little bit.
okay, this has to do with our 2023 audit.
Yes. So this is
Yeah,
our 2023 audit, the 1% sales tax. So if you recall, we did the Main Street project last year.
Mhm.
And the money, we used some money out of that 1% sales tax, and the rest came out of general. Well, that wasn't shown in the budget, how that was allocated. So that was one thing that we had to amend the budget on, to show the appropriations to the right line item budget area. That's all I know. You can go ahead, Melinda, if you know more.
Yeah, there's just a couple other ones, and these were all recommended by the auditor and prepared by Lorraine.
Yep.
But yeah, the water fund budget is being amended to add an additional appropriation of $100,000 for the potable water system improvements. And then the sewer fund is amended to reflect additional revenues of $255,000. That I guess is from a transfer from the sales tax capital improvement projects fund.
Mhm.
And then there's an additional appropriation in the sewer fund of $350,000 for sewer line replacements.
So it's just housekeeping, I guess, stuff we needed to get done for the 2023 budget. What else do we have left to get that finalized?
I talked to Steven today. I sent Yuli the 3 statements that I had for the fund, the BMO loan. I sent her those and I sent her the information on the interest.
Okay.
I have one outstanding statement that I did not have a copy of, that Steven is going to get me a copy of.
Okay.
And then, as far as I know, that will clean up our 2023 audit.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought we had everything else taken care of.
Yep,
So hopefully end of the week or next week it'll be cleaned up.
correct. And
We have till July 31st, right?
I'm hoping we don't have to ask for an
For an
extension.
extension. Yeah, okay. But if we do need to ask for an extension, they'll grant it and we can ask for it pretty much the day before.
Mhm.
So we'll be, if we need to ask for that extension, but we should be fine with where we're at right now. Anybody else have any questions on
This is
the?
a public hearing, so if you could just for the record ask if there's anyone from the public that wishes to
Yeah.
speak on the matter.
All right, time is now 8:29. The public hearing portion is now open. We ask if you would please step to the mic, state your name, address, be courteous and kind in your words. Is there anyone with public comment? Steve? If you have public comment, please raise your hand. Nobody? Why is it? Okay. All right, the time is now 8:29. The public comment section is now closed.
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 27-2024, a resolution amending the 2023 budget by increasing the appropriations and estimated beginning fund balance for the 1% sales tax capital improvement projects fund by increasing the appropriations for the water fund and by increasing the appropriations and estimated transfers from other funds for the sewer fund.
Second.
Mayor, motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Herbstman, seconded by Trustee Perot. Roll call, please.
Trustee Jerry Schwint,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem David Herbstman.
Yes.
Trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Steve Pro,
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes, resolution 27-2024 passes. All right, next up is consideration of resolution number 28-2024, a resolution authorizing changes to the authorized signers for the town's accounts with BMO.
With the call that the mayor and I were on with BMO the other day, we learned that Deborah Lee and Jeff Palmer were still on the accounts as signers. And so we are bringing forward this resolution to remove them from the accounts.
And we had a previous resolution to remove the previous town manager.
Right.
Mhm.
I remember that.
So
Okay.
the account signees now will be me, Mayor Pro Tem Herbstman, and Nicole.
Got it.
Us three.
Perfect. Okay.
So
I make a motion to adopt resolution 28-2024, a resolution authorizing changes to the authorized signers for the town's accounts with BMO.
Second.
motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Herbstman, seconded by Trustee Perot. Roll call, please.
Trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Jerry Schwint,
Yes.
Trustee Steve Pro,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem David Herbstman.
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes, Resolution 28-2024 passes. All right, next up is executive session. For the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and or instructing negotiators under CRS 24-6-4024E, specifically concerning potential appointment of a town manager and negotiations of a proposed town manager employment agreement.
I make a motion to go to executive session.
Second.
Motion has been made by Mayor Pro Tem Hertzman, seconded by Trustee Miller. Roll call, please.
Trustee Jerry Schwint,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem David Herbstman.
Yes.
Trustee Bruce Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Steve Pro,
Yes.
Mayor Chris Franzen.
Yes.
Okay. Obviously going to a new link.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Thank you.